Now, the last three videos, I was talking to you about the sanity equals sanity formula that is behind a lot of brainwashing techniques. The idea that that a person is to get you to think, believe, speak, act, or do something that makes you comparatively ill or insane. And when these symptoms of this illness present themselves, tell you how it is a sign of good things to come. It is the insanity equals sanity or double think formula. Now, in this video, I'm going to describe various ways of how social justice warriors and feminisms do this. And I also will tell you how the general behavior, no matter what the idea, is in the next video. Right now, we're going to talk about social justice warriors. Now, in social justice, they use this doublethink formula as the very foundation of their ideas. Then they come up with a good line of really, really good sounding logic bullshit as the house to make it seem like it is rational, when it's just cover to get you to believe into it. What they do constantly is they say, we are here to end racism. Then they prescribe a method that is designed to create the opposite effect, designed on purpose and intentionally to generate more racism. And they do this because, like I said, people don't like admitting they're wrong. They don't like thinking. They don't like having to adjust their ideas or views or programs. So what do? Is when it fails, like the migrant crisis in Europe, and when racism and more right-wing bigots come up, they say, oh my gosh, more racism. Why is this racism? Why is this not working? It must be the right wing. They deflect and blame it on another. And so thus, they become more focused, hyper-focused on solving racism. Then they do the same thing that was prescribed in their ideology that led to the failure to begin with. It becomes an intense cycle of self-destruction, and every time this cycle completes itself, the people get more cognitive dissonant, they get more anxious, they get more aggressive, they become more pleasant, and they begin to double down like a gambler at a casino to force this idea to work. That's just one idea. Now, another idea that causes racism is quotas. The idea of quotas is to give someone based on what they call the progressive stack. Merit, fuck merit. So what ends up happening is they end up promoting people who are not white and who are not male, not on merit, but just because they need a quota to fill. Now, what's this do? What's this do is designed to antagonize people, create tensions, and destroy unity, and cause chaos. We must solve racism. We do this with quotas. Quotas create feelings of bigotry and resentment. So you get some person who doesn't know anything, score easy, cheap political points with the social justice crowd, gets put in a position of authority, and then you got someone who was at the bottom, paid their dues for many, many years, it was very good in their job, and they got this rum-dum promoted over them. This generates feelings of resentment. And then if you say, hey, this is what this is doing, or you complain about how this person has merit, you get told you're a racist. By disagreeing, you get more resentment. You become more racist. You bring it up, and they say, oh, more quotas. You're complaining. That's a sign we don't have enough quotas. You see the doublethink here. It's one way to design to create more racism under disguise of ending racism. Now let's take political correctness. On Black Pigeon Speaks, I believe one of his videos showed a black woman, where she talked about the more woke she got, the less people wanted to associate with her. She became lonely, she became mean, she became nasty, and as a result, she became mean and nasty, less people wanted to deal with her. She became isolated and lonely. And when you're isolated and lonely, you get sick. And what happens when you get sick? You get more aggressive. You become nastier and nicer. You become nastier, meaner, and more abusive. And when you do those behaviors, here's what the social justice crowd does. The more you show this aggression, the more you show this nastiness, the more you show this abusive behavior, the more they consider, hey, this is compassion. This is tolerance. This is good behavior. You're becoming a better person. The reality of making you sick, thus more crazy, thus more intolerant as a person, gets labeled as tolerant. Now, what has tolerant? As I said, social justice isn't the only ideal that creates this doublethink insanity equals sanity formula. But it relies on it to a heavy degree. In the next video, we will describe what happens to someone who follows an idea that has this formula embedded into it, or is very much part of the fabric of the idea. And we will describe what will happen to a person, a group of people, and a society, and the end results.